for those of you wondering, my shirt, in fact, does tie into the story, in as much as it's a shirt I made with the lyrics to Run to You by Pentatonix on it. That's all. And for those of you wondering why I haven't responded to your comments from my recent videos, I'm in Indiana on a trip, and these are all pre-filmed, and I just upload and move on with my life. So, as you can tell by this title of this video, I met someone who almost had sex with Mitch Grassi, or at least that's what he told me. So I went to Pentatonix World Tour when it was closest to me, and I made a couple videos about it, I'm sure. One I remember was called Concerts and Communion. I'm actually really pleased with that video, but whatever. And so I was super excited to meet Pentatonix. Didn't have a meet and greet pass of any kind. And that's actually because someone leaked the Patreon code, or the Patreon code, and so all the tickets, all the VIP passes for my concert were already claimed before the general public could get them. But I'm not mad. If I had the code, I would have done the same thing, so whatever. So I went, and I was under the impression that, like usual, Pentatonix would just be willing to meet people by their tour buses. Apparently this is not the case, because it was the last show of that leg of the tour, so now you know it was the one at Merriweather Post Pavilion. That does not tell you how close I live to Merriweather, though. And so they just kind of didn't. But I didn't know that, so I was running around all over the place after the concert, trying to find them. And I ran into this other person who had, like, talked to the security guards. And I'm like, hey, you're more willing to confront authority than I am, so I'm gonna stick by you. And we were talking, and he was just really cool, and I'm like, man, I really, really want to know if they're gonna be here. And he's like, oh, let me text Mitch and see what he's gonna say. And I'm like, ooh, you're gonna text Mitch Grassi. As in the Mitch Grassi. As in you have Mitch Grassi's phone number. And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, let me text him and see. And I'm like, okay, please do that. So later, I go and search for them somewhere else, and later I run into him again. Meanwhile, the YouTuber Hassan was over there, and I almost met him, but I didn't. So, he comes back, or he doesn't come back, he comes to the place where we said I'd be waiting for him, and he's like, well, Mitch said they're kind of busy at some weird, like, after-party thing, but, they'll be seeing friends and family soon. And I'm like, okay, great, I'm gonna be friends and family. I can do that. And I'm like, how do you have his number? And he's like, oh, well, I almost had sex with Mitch. And I'm like, okay, please explain. So he's like, well, I went to this bar where they were performing when they were, like, really small in, like, New York City or whatever, and afterwards Mitch and I were talking, and he gave me his number, and he asked me to have sex with him, or to hook up with him. He used the phrase hook up, so I don't actually know what he implied, but he asked me to hook up with him, and I, like, texted my girlfriend, and she didn't want me to, so I said no. And I'm like, A, good for you and your morals. B, you're an idiot. C, how long have you at least been with her? And he's like, oh, well, we actually wound up breaking up because she thought I was cheating. And I wasn't, not even with Mitch Grassi. And I'm like, wow. So he's like, I guess I should have actually had sex with him. And I'm like, what? And you still have his number? Like, his number hasn't changed since then. He's like, yeah, we talk sometimes. What? Didn't get his name. I didn't get his number. And off he went. I hope he got to meet Mitch again that night. He met these people like 6 times, so he doesn't need another time, but I hope he got it because I didn't get to meet them afterwards. And like, if he wasn't on the friends and family list, there's no way I would have been, so that's that. Like, what? I am 1 degree of separation from Mitch. By extension, 2 degrees of separation from Avi Kaplan, which is all I really need to know about my life. So, there's that. I hope you have a great day.